Hey, I'm Mark Ellison. You are listening to the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews, and Geek News. I love both those things.
So this is the ad copy for what we're going to talk about. Okay, we already started. We're going. Did you guys know that there's no better way to enjoy fresh craft beer right from the brewer's tap than the Synek System? Are you guys aware of that? Ryan, maybe possibly you can support me on this?
Absolutely.
So the Synek System basically makes the craft beer dispenser right in your own kitchen. So it's the size of like a Keurig, right? And it's this amazing little machine that takes your growler and puts basically a kegerator tap on the front of it, powered by CO2. Plugs into the wall. You can set it to any custom temperature you want, and it gives you the best of both worlds. You get brewery fresh beer right from your growler, and you get to enjoy it at home in the safety of your own kitchen, or whatever you want to do. You can do a 32-ounce or a 64-ounce growler. It's amazing.
I really had a lot of fun talking about this and showing it off the other day. When we had the opportunity to. We even met somebody that had one, which was really cool. But if you're the type of person that maybe has one or two beers out of their 64, 32-ounce growler, which, well, 32, that's really one or two beers anyway. But you don't have to powerhouse through that growler. You can keep it fresh for about 3 weeks. I think the guy even said, like 30 days at one point for himself?
Yeah, he had it like over a month, but that's a long time.
It's a long time, but I mean, if you're just going in between beers or enjoying that one, it keeps it fresh. I mean, it's a neat idea. So definitely check it out.
Yeah. So you can go to bit.ly, it's bit.ly /Synek, SYNEK BMC. So basically it's a bit.ly link with a /Synek BMC, and you can enter promo code Brewmasters Club at checkout for 25% off. The unit itself sells for $400, but with our code you can get $100 off. So it's actually a pretty good deal. If you love it, we'd love to hear about it. Please do not hesitate to hashtag Brewmasters Club Cast and tell us all about it.
Yeah, another thing too, that I was just talking about it with somebody, and they said it might have been a good idea. If you're a home brewer and you got a couple of growlers at home that you fill your beer up with and whatnot, you can put some of them in the fridge, and you can naturally carbonate your beer with the CO2 compartment in there without having to actually go through the bottling phase and using priming sugar and waiting for that to kick up. So that was kind of another positive spin on the whole thing. I don't know. I haven't tried it myself, but it might work. So,
and when we brewed our first beer, I did the same thing. You could package this once your secondary fermentation was complete, and you can actually just put the growler tap right on top of your growler that you had been aging in, and it will keep your beer a lot longer. So, I'm definitely gonna check it out next time that we brew batch, Ryan. And how's the pineapple coming, by the way?
I'll be bottling it this Sunday. I'm
Fantastic.
giving this one a little extra time.
Fantastic. Good. Make it right. Yeah, make it right. Good. Well, that's the ad. So go to bit.ly /Synek BMC, and that's SYNEK BMC, or go to simply synek.beer and enter the promo code at checkout, Brewmasters Club, to get 25% off. So that's it. Lousman, Dane, how you guys doing?
Excellent.
Question.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna fire off right up top of the question. You said the Synek is very closely related to like a Keurig type of situation. Why didn't they go with a beer egg?
Because Keurig's making their own beer.
Awkward pause right there. Okay, just gloss over that. That's gone.
Good question.
It was a real bad question.
Dan, I don't know that. I don't know if you know what kind of question is a good question.
Dan, I don't know if you're qualified to determine where my questions are coming from.
No good questions. You're just a bad person.
Okay.
Dane, did you have a good question, or should we start the episode?
Let's start the show.
All right.
Start the show.
So welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Brewmasters Club Cast. Here is what you have to look forward to in tonight's episode.
Of course you're drinking that, Mirt, idiot.
Yeah, you donger. I'm sorry, did we already start with the put-downs?
Dane, do you want me to skip you when it comes to the beer?
That sounds like a yes.
I'm so sorry, Dane.
Look, ask me about the Zelda DLC. I'll hook you up with that.
All right. We gotta
I am drinking a beverage.
Okay. All right. We got to get on. All right. We're going to start the show. Ready? 3, 2, and
Start now.
Dane, I don't know that. I don't know if you know what kind of question is a good question.
No good questions. You're just a bad person.
It's called a monopoly.
Monopoly. How did I know that was coming?
Oof.
Oh, no.
This is already starting out like shit. It's a me, a Mario.
They don't tingle your dingle.
Oh, they don't clink your link.
Oh, God damn it. Well, one of them is Tingle Suit.
What?
Tingle Suit is the joke. Tingle Suit.
Yeah, no, I had to get on board.
You crazy mother.
Welcome to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Sit back, pour yourself a pint, and let's get into it. Now here's the founder of the Brewmasters Club and your host, Donnie Gallagher.
Good evening, craft beer fans. My name is Donnie. I am here with my esteemed panel of guests for the Brewmasters Club cast, the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club. This is Craft Brews and Geek News. My name is Donnie, as aforementioned. I'm here with Ryan today. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing really good, and I just got a spin class about an hour ago, so
It's
I'm
called
feeling pretty
biking,
lively.
stationary biking class, but go ahead.
Call it what you want, man. It kicked my ass.
Sit and
Alright.
spin.
All right.
I'm gonna call it sit and
The old pro of the sit and spin, Mr. Lousman. How are you?
Oh, ahoy, buddy. Doing great.
And Mr. Boring Beer over there. How you, Dane?
Just
Boring beer.
chilling like a Belgian white, I guess.
Yeah, good. I'm sure it's not that boring, whatever you may have. But thank you guys all for being here. This is going to be a good show. We are packed because we had a very interesting few weeks. We had 2 beer fests over 2 weeks. We had 3 live episodes. It's a lot of content coming out. So thank you all for sticking with us and just hanging out. We can go ahead and get right into it. The first couple of stories that we have are all about, of course, craft beer. The first one, basically the Florida Brewers Guild. Did you guys come across this yet? It's a brand new organization that started. It's a nonprofit here for the state of Florida. Several states, I don't know if you saw that before, but there's, the umpteen amount of states that are out there that actually have their own Brewers Guild. This is the actual Florida Brewers Guild, which is brand new. And it is a nonprofit that starts to celebrate kind of craft brewers and small breweries. Essentially, they focus on innovation, just like us, about how new craft breweries can gain shelf space and gain market share. And they like to stay involved to the communities. So whether it be philanthropy, product donations, volunteerism, and sponsorships. So they maintain, integrity by being essentially built from local craft breweries. So they're on the board. I think there's a guy from Miami. There's a couple guys from Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, and Tallahassee. Just a nice collection of craft brewers. So definitely check them out, floridabrewersguild.org. Question for you guys that I wanted to pose is that, what do you think these types of organizations actually play in terms of growing craft beer as a trend or as a market? Do you think it's super helpful? Do you think what are your thoughts?
I actually belong to the Facebook group that is the Lakeland Brewers Guild. And I made that kind of step in a direction that I wasn't really led to. I mean, I just kind of randomly was like, well, yeah, hey, they look cool. Maybe I can help out. Maybe I can go to an event or two. I joined them. They're not a very talkative group. They're very slow moving, but I like what they're doing. They're doing something similar. They try and showcase, is what I've noticed, local breweries and things of that nature. So it's a cool organization to be a part of, but I haven't really done a whole lot with it. So my thoughts on it, I mean, it's neat. I like it. It's definitely something I'd be a Facebook group of, but I haven't really seen the dedication in my local area yet, but it could be good on a statewide level.
So is this kind of like the forming of a union for breweries then? I mean, to not like in the protection sense, but when it comes to the laws and the regulations of the 3-tier system, like, are they getting involved with that, or is this more of a networking and showing, like you said, getting the bottles into it? Like, I'm trying to figure out, can it grow into that? Is it like a bonding thing with the brewing community, or what's the take on that?
So using like the National Brewers Guild as an actual like example for this is an organization of action. So what these guys would do is they would take nonprofit dollars and spend them on lobbyists to push agendas that support local craft beer. It's a lot larger than being a networking group. This is saying that we are an organization as the state of Florida as a whole, and we are here to make our voice heard. So this is it's a bigger deal than in a group or a small club. So it's nice that Laos found one locally to join, because that's what you got to do to start these type of things. But it's definitely much larger than that. But I don't want to go into it too much because we got a lot to cover. But I just thought it was interesting, and the birth of a Florida Brewers Guild means good stuff for us, because odds are we're all talking the same language, so we will probably work with them in the very near future. And one of our good buddies, guest of the show, Sean Norquist, is the executive chairman. So he'll definitely be on here talking about that. We may do a couple events. All right. So moving on. Speaking of the Brewers Association, they released the top 50 brewers of 2016. I don't want to go through them all, but I do want to hit a couple highlights that I truly enjoyed. And Ryan or Laos, if you have it up in front of you and you're looking, please feel free to give me your thoughts as well.
Number one, unofficial sponsor, pretty high up on the list.
Not number one. Number one, though, for Pete's sake, really. Yuengling, huh? Love it. Yuengling, because it's craft is a designation of how many barrels they can sell per year. I am guessing that Yuengling still falls within that category.
I got to share a quick story. I ran into an old friend from high school tonight, and her and Ashley were talking. And then as we were rounding the corner, she was like, "Oh, you guys are going to the beer section?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got to, do a podcast or whatever." And she's like, "I got to get my dad some beer. I don't know what to get him because he usually buys it and he's got friends coming over." So I was like, "All right, well, what is he like?" Is he, she's like, "I have no clue." So we went to the shelf, and then she said 12 pack. And most craft beers, those are usually sold in 6. Sierra Nevada, they'll do 12 and things like that. But so I was like, all right, well, let's just keep it simple. And I grabbed a 12 pack Yuengling. Just nice. Wanted to share that. So,
well, Yuengling's good beer too. I mean, it's everything they make I like, except for their premium. I don't really like the premium, but
I mean, it's a drinkable beer, and for somebody that may not be a craft beer person, and having guests over that might not know what they're drinking, if I was to give her an IPA or something like that, I just played the safe bet and stayed away from McUltra and went to Yuengling. So.
Yeah. No, it's good. So in terms of the top, let me give the top 5. We have Yuengling, Boston Beer Company, Sierra Nevada, and New Belgium, which we all love. And then Gambrinus, which I've never had before, and Duvel Mortgat. I know Duvel, but I don't know what the other half of that is. Bell's Brewery, which is out of Kalamazoo, and Deschutes, which we've heard before. Stone, Oscar Blues, Brooklyn Brewery. We go all the way down to number 14, which is Dogfish Head. 15 is Sweetwater. 18 is Harpoon. Beta is number 20. Wow, so you've got a special spot in your heart for a Beta.
This is true.
Anchor Brewing is 22. Shipyard is 28. Rogue is 30. That's like some of this stuff is crazy. 32 is Fine Dog, right? Like,
what is this? Yeah. I mean, who made this list? Like, Cigar City's not even on here.
Well, they're not the largest brewery. That's why.
I know, but Uinta's on here. That's a good one. But
this is the top 50 craft and overall brewing companies in the United States based on beer sales volume. So yes, all right. Cigar City, which is close to us, and we love them. Yes, they're not pushing units like these guys are, and that's all it is.
They will be.
I had a slight issue with this list. Mm-hmm. So. Stemming from one particular mentioning, it was the Great Lakes Brewing Company at number 21. Of course, this is the second grievance that I'm going to be airing, but yeah, I have a feeling I know how they made it on this list, but I'm just, to kind of gloss over all that. I feel like they may be in a situation where they can actually really capitalize on being one of the few craft breweries in their area. They are located in Cleveland, and it's a very big beer around Cleveland. And I was very excited for it, but it did not sort of pan out. It had a very general overtone, and I'm being liberal on that, where everything tasted like coffee. So don't know how they made it on the list, but that's fine for them. I mean, that's great. I feel like, again, they may just kind of capitalize on there being no other craft breweries in that area. So just one little hole to poke.
I want to say one thing real quick. Whilst my daughter is kicking the glass behind me. Revolution Brewery in Chicago, got a chance to go there last year on the honeymoon. They've got fantastic beer, and I really hope one day they can be distributed down here because we get Goose Island, but Revolution Brewery needs to be next because they've got fantastic beer, fantastic cans, and they just truly fantastic company. So I just want to share that.
Well, if you really want them down here, you should tell Anheuser-Busch to just buy them like they bought Goose Island, and then you'll have them everywhere.
Well,
Segue.
not just yet. Before we segue into that, I did want to talk about the next article, which we had the top 50 breweries of the nation, of really worldwide, I guess, in beer sales. But the question was asked, why isn't Cigar City on there? So the next piece there is the top, 50 from Tampa Bay. And again, we're not going to go all the way through that. But what we will do is just go through the top 5 here. And I want to talk about the barrels sold. So Cigar City is top, of course, in the Tampa Bay area here in South Central Florida. At 2,500 barrels sold in 2016, and that's retail only. The next competitor closest to them is the Dunedin Brewery at 1,300, which is roughly half what Cigar City pushed out in a year. Following up with them, we've got Three Daughters at 930 barrels last year, and then TBBC, which is a great friend of ours, at a mere 500 barrels. The funny thing is you can see Big Storm Pinellas, which at this point in time had only served 30 barrels per year last year. This year already in 2017, they're up to nearly 1,000. That's pretty neat. And then it goes on to Tampa Bay Brewing Company at 1,200 last year, Cycle at 600 last year, Coppertail at just under 600 last year, and the list goes on from there. So those are close to us, of course, which are always going to be important, but it's just very, very unusual or very interesting to see how they kind of stack up against the rest of the country. So I have a list of 75 that are on there. What do you guys think about that? Because there's your Cigar City.
Well, I'm glad they made a list.
Anyone can make a list. Yeah, those numbers are.
You just have to make 500 barrels or more.
Yeah, I don't know. But Ryan, speaking of segues, that did remind me, and I didn't even put it on here. But can you tell us a little bit about the AB purchase of South Africa, because I really didn't dip too far into that. I just what I had put on here was basically that the Wicked Weed beer that was purchased by AB, a bunch of craft brewery stores stopped selling it. What happened at that point is that they essentially just gave up on the brand because AB now owns them, and these little liquor stores and craft brew stores are all about supporting local craft beer. They essentially
stick it to the man.
Yeah, they're sticking it to the man. So I wanted to know, a little bit about the AB, because Ryan sent the AB merger that essentially took over, all of the South Africa market. AB was InBev was commanding.
They put the squeeze basically on this certain type of hops, and nobody else can get it because they bought 100% of the crop. So that was what was pissing everybody off.
Okay, see, I didn't even know it was about hops.
Oh yeah, it was a hops.
So it is a good segue, because if you're one of the craft beer fans out there that was defending last week's acquisition of Anheuser-Busch for Wicked Weed, the brewery, then you wanted to see how InBev's business practices hurt the entire craft beer industry as a whole. Well, they just presented the best possible example by more or less cutting off the entire South African hops market from independent American craft brewers. Mm-hmm. These hops, which includes some of the most sought-after new aroma varieties in the market today, will be embarked for breweries owned by InBev solely, the high-end division, including ones just like those purchased as, Wicked Weed and others.
Mm-hmm.
So
they put a squeeze on the market, and they're only getting it out to their own people. That's pretty much, I don't know if that's a monopoly on hops, but
it's called a monopoly.
Monopoly. How did I know that was coming?
At this point, it's on you.
I threw up a softball and you just hit it out of the infield.
So
you thought I was going to say out of the park,
references.
didn't you? Yeah. No, it was a softball reference. You hit it out of the infield.
Baseball. Cool.
The interesting part is that South Africa is not a traditional hop market. So it's a very unusual place to make hops because it's so hot and things like that. It's actually 1% of the world hop acreage. But they usually suffer from low yields. However, they actually done a large percentage of hops recently to the South African grown local brands like Castle Lager and Castle Light, because those beers committed to brewing locally grown ingredients. So this means less than 5% can be allocated to other Anheuser-Busch brands.
Well, but if that specific hop gives off a certain flavor, or I'm forgetting the term for the hop that I had the interview with Michael at Better Brew with right now.
Mandarin.
Mandarin, yeah. So that one has that sort of mandarin orange citrusy flavor. If this hops gives off a specific aroma, a specific flavor and taste, that can be why people are mad, because if they want to brew with it, they now can't if they're not under Anheuser-Busch. So I can see the pros and cons to each, and maybe it's a limited supply, and it's like 5% or whatever you just said of the hop yield, but that's kind of the whole point. That's what pisses people off.
Well, okay, so the last beer story that I have, and that's interesting. I don't know. That's a weird article with the AB hop market thing. They were able to make something weird happen with this giant merger, and then SAB Miller too. Before Trump, somebody's pulling some strings to get these conglomerates to sync up together. But the article that literally just crossed my screen here was from November 8th, 2016, and it's Cold Mountain season. And I only bring this up because Dane loves Cold Mountain.
Hell yeah.
And this November, which would have been in 2016, marked the 20th anniversary of Cold Mountain.
Yeah, baby.
The Cold Mountain sought-after winter seasonal from Highland Brewing in Asheville, North Carolina.
Shit's legit.
Shit's legit. It was just so so timely that I had to
so
bring it
legit.
up.
You can't stop drinking it for like 5 weeks.
You just can't.
I just keep getting it, man.
You just keep getting it. It's all
I'm not buying it. It just shows up. I'm like, all right.
All right. So that's easy. So okay,
Have we even talked about what we brought to the table tonight, or
no? We're gonna do that right now because we had to get through those stories because we were just rolling. But who wants to kick it off? Because I have an oldie but a goodie. It's the Fat Tire, circa episode 1, maybe 2. I texted all you guys, the other day, knowing that the liquor store was liquidating all of their Fat Tire, and they were selling 24 16 ounces for $12.99, which equated to 54 cents a can, and that's a 16-ounce can. So if you break it down by ounce, I mean you're talking like pennies. So
and I told you to buy me one, and you did, right?
No, I did not. But I bought me one.
That's fine.
So my whole fridge is full. But that's what I'm drinking tonight. And just as always, it's not that I don't like this beer. I do love the Fat Tire. It's just an easy to drink amber ale. It's not too heavy. It's not too smoky. It's not too brown. It's not too heavy alcohol or anything like that. And New Belgium, an employee-owned company, always good to have. So I enjoy it. I love New Belgium, and I'm happy to drink it. So what do you guys got?
Beautiful. I want to hear what Dane has.
Yeah, me too.
Well, let's play a game.
What? Cold Mountain.
No.
No. Oh.
It's not Cold Mountain.
New Belgium.
No, but I am in fact drinking a Belgian-style wheat ale. So who wants to take a gander at that?
Sam Adams.
Nope.
Can you give us
Not
any
just
more?
because my hat
clues?
says Sam Adams.
Can you give us any more clues?
We call them brews.
It's brewed with something fruity.
New Belgium. Or Blue Moon.
Yeah.
Boom.
Ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner. So yeah, I just hoard stuff that other people bring. I don't even buy beer anymore. So it's just like, yeah, having a party. Mom bought some Blue Moon, so I'm drinking it.
Nice. Well,
Good
Blue
mom.
Moon's made by Coors, right?
Yes.
It's fine. I mean, it's fine.
It's
you did
fine.
Say you did say Belgium white. I should have.
That's why I sighed before this began.
Because you're like, well, it's tasty, but it's not exactly crafty.
It's not what you guys are looking for.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
It's fine.
At least you brought a different beer to the cast.
That's true.
What's important.
It's not
You're
Cold Mountain,
spreading those taste buds.
Which did celebrate their 20th anniversary 7 or 8 months ago.
Oh, close enough.
Austin, what do you got?
I think that leaves me. So I have an American IPA.
And Ryan.
Thanks,
Okay.
Lars.
Yep. It is the
Awkward.
Liberty Ale from Anchor Brewing.
And Anchor was on that list too. Did you see that?
I was just going to say, which was mentioned or referenced on that list.
Number
So,
22.
yeah, I went ahead and got a little sampler pack from Anchor Brewing, and first one I wanted to try was the Liberty Ale, and pretty neat little brew. It's supposedly it is brewed originally. It's been around for a long time. It was brewed originally for the bicentennial of Paul Revere's ride. That was the whole reason they brewed it. But very cool, very old school, not very like recent or anything like that. Neat little IPA, very delicious. When researching it at all, they referenced champagne-like, and I was like, man, that's weird. And then tried it and was like, okay, yep, that's champagne-like. It kind of jumps out at you right at the get-go, and got a lot of bubbles. Carbonation is supposed to be something called, and forgive me for how I pronounce this, the carbonation is determined by a bunging. Not familiar with the term. Yeah, we'll go with that because it's a weird old school type of thing, and I have no idea how it works. So, but it tastes yummy, and it tastes like champagne. So, very good.
That sounds good. Mr. Rygal, what do you got?
So I brought one beer to the table tonight, as you guys did, of course, and mine is from Funky Buddha, which I got to give credit. I mean, there's a couple beers that I don't like from them, but then just every beer that I like is just fabulous. And
Just don't let it be the sweet potato.
I haven't had that one. You tried that
It's
one.
terrible.
Go to Mad Beach for the Yam I Yam. That's a sweet potato beer right there.
Yeah.
But and they serve it with a brown sugar rim. But anyway, this is called the Muy Bonita, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's actually a double brown ale. I don't know if you guys can see that there. I left the bottle inside because it was a big, a larger beer. I didn't want to drink the whole thing. Ashley wants to try some. Comes in at 8.8%, and evidently it's the sister to the Bonita Apple Plum, Apple Pie Brown. When you smell it, it smells fantastic, and then you could definitely pick up when you drink it on the cinnamon and vanilla and the fresh apples that they put in there. It's just a really fantastic and smooth brown ale. It doesn't finish dry or anything like that. It's just freaking fantastic. So that's what I'm drinking tonight, and I love it.
Very good.
I always plan on picking up some notes when I drink a beer because you have to physically pick it up. Okay. Wow. 2 for
Klaus,
2.
Did you read the notes before you chose your beer there, guy?
My goodness. I read the notes. I understand that it may or okay. It's kind of it's like a big beer company now, but this isn't on me. This isn't on me.
This isn't on me.
Completely on you.
No,
I
we're
can't
gonna
pick.
It's okay. It's all right. You're good. All right. Well, thank you guys for that. That's. I'm not coming at you. We're good, man.
Not a fan.
We're just talking
that
trash,
Mirt,
man.
though.
We're just talking trash. That's all it is.
That Mirt though.
I'm coming at you, bruh.
Yeah, you got to watch that Mirt.
Coming at you, bro. All right. Well, speaking of which, coming at you, a good segue. Let's talk about Mario Kart 8.
Tell us.
I've been playing it now for like 3. You have it yet for the Switch, Dane?
Nah, man.
Well, as we move on to our geeky section, man, let me just tell you a little bit of video game knowledge here. It's pretty much the most perfect game that was ever created.
Whoa.
And I can back that up with stats.
Really?
Tell me if you want them.
We want them.
Well,
I want some.
there's several reasons. First off, when you get it for the Switch, you get everything like your DLC and stuff is all unlocked. So you get all the tracks, you get all the games, you get all the guys, all the modes, all the everything right off the bat, which is great. In the previous version, which for Wii U, the graphics were dulled down, and you had to unlock this stuff like as you kind of beat stuff or paid for it. This plays 720p on handheld, 1080p at 60 frames per second on the TV, which is by far the most brilliant and beautiful it ever looked. Plus, you get 5 different game modes for multiplayer, which is like the battle modes. And then you get 8 new designs. 4 of those, you get 8 special designs. 4 of those are brand new. And you get returning items, things like the feather and whatnot that weren't there before. You get multi-level drifts, which is neat. And the fundamentals are the same. Plus, you get 42 extra characters. Additional characters, total characters, whatever. essentially, like if you were looking for the Mario Kart game that has all the best components, this is it. Laos, like you played Mario Kart for 64. Like, what was your favorite piece of that game? Because this encompasses them all.
Yeah. So I've actually played both, if you recall.
Yeah.
I played the new one and the old one on 64, and even the old one on old school Nintendo and whatnot. Parts of the new one, that little hang glider, that thing's cool. You no longer just like, you can imagine on Nintendo 64, when you hit a big old jump with a big old ramp and it had a little speed up and whatnot, you hit that jump and you're like, okay, and then solid like 5 count. You're like, everything should be okay. Like now you have a little bit of control over that with the little hang gliders that pop out. And so that's cool. I mean, that is a game changer. I mean, quite literally to the term.
And
so
you go up and go down. You can hang a little bit longer.
You can do a lot with that, which again, you used to be just go, well, this should be good. And you just kind of wung it. Sometimes you wind up out of the game, which is weird for a game to let you do, but that's fine. So,
Dane, have you
I'm very excited.
Have you played it yet, Dane?
No, I have not played the new one. It's funny
Oh.
because I actually play the N64 version almost on a daily basis. The guy I work with has it in his office. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. So that's kind of a funny tidbit there, but I know you've been enjoying it, and I'm hoping to grab it soon because it sounds really great.
Yeah, I've heard a number of different podcasts and reviewers talk about it that like it's hard to ever say like that any one game is the perfect game because like Halo, is great, but it's not the perfect first person shooter. Like GTA 5 is great, but it's not the perfect, open world game. There's still plenty of problems with it, but a game like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch or whatever is literally the perfect game because it gives you every single thing you wanted and you were expecting and you want to play with right off the bat. And all you have to do is play through it. And it's challenging and it's hard to do, but it's good to look at. And you know what I mean? It knocks off all the check boxes. So if there was ever a perfect game, as odd as it sounds, this is it, my friends.
No doubt. Say no more.
Ryan, any thoughts?
No, I wish I would have played it. The only version of Mario Kart I've ever played was actually on Super Nintendo, so I haven't played the new one yet.
Well, don't worry.
Hey, that was a great one too. I mean, I used to play hours and hours of that game when I was a kid. But
there are a couple courses from Super Nintendo too. So there's Mute City and some Super Nintendo courses. So you'll enjoy that still. And you know what I think is in our very near future is a live gig with a Super Mario tournament. So.
I think that would be fabulous.
I think
I want to play the ghost levels. Those are always my favorite.
Yep.
Oh, Ghost Boardwalk.
So yeah, and
Ghost Boardwalk. Yeah.
there's still a ghosty one. So if you guys out there listening want to here in Tampa Bay area at least, we're not going to do an online thing, or maybe we could do an online thing. But if we want to do some sort of Mario Kart tournament, it's really simple. All you have to do is hashtag it's a me Barrio, and you let us know. And we'll check that hashtag. It's a me Barrio, and we'll do a Barrio tournament, which is basically.
So is a me AMEBARIO? Is that how you spell it?
Go ahead, Laos.
Yeah, you probably should have just pre-read that bit. Like it was actually in the notes.
Oh,
you shouldn't have taken like airtime and been like, let me try and post read this.
sorry.
That's silly. No, you're fine.
Give it to us in the accent, Laos, because it's kind of your catchphrase. So give it to us real good.
In what sort of accent? What were we talking about?
What would you do if you were stopped in traffic and you wanted to slow down and just give someone the?
It's me. I'm gonna win. I mean,
how would you?
That's my favorite.
How would you say the
That's
hashtag?
not the hashtag. That's not the hashtag.
If I had to say the hashtag, okay. So,
Oh, no.
This is already starting out like shit. So, it's me, Mario.
That's perfect.
And Dane left on that. On that note, Dane said, "Fuck it,"
and I'm out.
Yeah, he just goes, "No,
he's
doing
back.
it dirty."
Do it. Do it again.
Oh, okay, great.
Do it again.
Do it
I
again.
missed, like the
Damn it, I missed it.
You're making this like the truffle shuffle. Please
Dude,
don't.
My Mac was like, F that. I don't want to hear that crap.
Do it, because then Dane needs to talk about Zelda, and then we're out of here.
Yep.
Okay, so all I said was, "It's a me, a Mario," which I feel like the beard does more than the voice does on this one, but that's fine.
Nobody can see you anyway. It's okay.
It does. So all right. So
Yeah,
if
no
you
one
guys,
can hear you scream.
if y'all want to do a live gig,
fine.
I can't even see you right now. Sorry.
if y'all want to do a live gig, just let us know. Live gig. It's a me, Mario. Use that hashtag, or just hashtag us anywhere. Various Twitter handles, which we'll explain in roughly 10 or 15 minutes. Dane, tell me about some Zelda DLC.
Boring.
What?
Oh,
Nah, it's okay for the first DLC, I think.
The Trial of the Sword is what I'm most excited about. If you guys are not aware, the new Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Switch is actually it's a badass game. First off, I love it. We've all beat it, and a lot going on. Still a ton to explore. But go ahead, Dane.
Yeah, so the DLC, it looks like there's going to be the Trial of the Sword. There's going to be a travel medallion. A few little tidbits, different masks, different things you can wear.
Hard mode.
Hard mode, which interests me a lot to make things a little bit more difficult, which I like. Trial of the Sword looks good. I remember they have kind of the Trial of the Sword in all the Zelda games. So
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. The little tidbits like the outfits and the masks don't really get me fired up.
They don't tingle your dingle.
oh,
Oh, hey-oh. Yeah, so
they don't clink your link.
Oh, God damn it, Louse. One of them is Tingle Suit.
What?
Tingle Suit is the joke. Tingle Suit. Not
I had to get
clink,
on
not
board.
clink your dink. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I had to get on board. I had to.
Tingle may be the one character in all of video game land that confuses me the most. So
He's the worst one. That's why.
he
Like,
is
everybody
the worst.
loves. Everybody loves Tingle. I'm like, fuck you, Tingle. Like
He
nobody.
is the
like, he's
worst, creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. But
Yeah.
you get to wear a costume that looks like Tingle. It looks like a romper, or like a
Oh,
PJ
God.
suit. Anyways, I digress.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. The thing that I think I'll like the most is the travel medallion. To just kind of, although
The sword.
you
The
have a
Trial of
lot-
the Sword. I like.
yeah, because I think if you have a lot of things unlocked, you can kind of travel anyways. So
Yeah, well, the
Oh,
Trial of the Sword, if you can complete that, basically what you have is a powered up Master Sword anytime you want it.
yes,
And at all times until it wears out of charge, and then you wait like a couple hours and it's back. So
Yeah,
I
which
would
is
love to
magnificent.
have I would love to have a powered up Master Sword all the time, because I think otherwise you have to wait a substantial amount of time before you can get it back, and you can't always shoot your like laser sword, whatever that thing is. But you could after beating that. But Laos, did you have something?
Oh, I was gonna say I often can't shoot my laser sword after beating that. That's all I was gonna say. It was horrible.
Ah.
Well, I didn't want to say it, but you put me on the spot, so here it goes.
And so you said it.
Well, so Nintendo announced all those details probably, I guess at this point, like a week and a half ago. So I'm extremely excited to see them. They are coming for this summer. It'll be very awesome to see, and I can't wait to see the content and the way that people play the game and whatnot, and how that changes things. But very excited. So as a Zelda fan, love it. Dan,
looks good.
good, awesome.
Sounds
All right,
awesome.
Lousman and Ryan. The next one, I guess, is for you guys. Did you see this Farpoint game, the VR Farpoint?
Oof, yes.
What are your thoughts? Because I don't think it's just for PS4, right?
That is correct. As far as I know, it is just for the PlayStation VR. And man, oh man, does that thing look cool! It almost looks like some of those like very intro type videos where there's a guy in like a full on like. You remember the movie Gamer?
Yeah.
Like where like he was joint at the hip with some sort of like thing where he was running and not going anywhere and like controlling a person type of situation. It looks like that, and everything I read about it kind of sounds like that, but apparently he's not actually running in like some sort of weird treadmill. He's actually just sort of moving, going, but he's gotten PlayStation VR has the whole gun aspect down, which
The PlayStation Aim controller, is that what it is?
well, it's like the Super Shot, or not the Super Shot, but they called it the Sniper Shot.
Yeah, it's the PlayStation VR Aim controller. So essentially, like it holds like a gun, and then wherever you point it, so like you could point the gun here, and you could look that way with the VR, and your gun will stay trained, on your target point, while you can look up and look around and see, which is neat. You know what I mean? Like, that's amazing because that's the first time in VR ever where you're looking at something and that's where your cursor is. But then if you look away, it changes. So having a independent controller with a gun on it is kind of cool. I like that a lot.
It gives blind firing while kind of like 4 beers deep a whole new aspect because you're like whoa, like this thing's got a hairline trigger, and you're just talking to an Xbox Live party, and you're just like, and you're like, whoops, wrong game. We're playing Rainbow Six Siege. My bad, guys.
I mean, it will be sick when it gets to the point of like a Halo where you're literally you have to hide, and then also you need to go, and you could just blind fire that. That's sick. That would be sick. I don't think this game is there.
No, of course not. But however, the technology does actually exist. I mean, just to reference something a little bit different than video games, the new F-35s, which is the Air Force jet of the future, which is super expensive, $120 million a piece, they can actually look at a target and it will designate FFO, which is friend or foe, or friend foe, whatever. And they can actually track it through where they sit. So when they look at a target, they can designate it, and then they can actually look down below where there is an airplane that they're currently riding on, and they can still track it, which is weird. That's just the way of the future. So that's kind of like video games taking an actual forefront into current military technology, which weird sidebar. I don't know. There's no jokes there.
I think that's all. That's all it's gonna be. I mean, I think that that just kind of shines a little bit of light as to what we would love to do, with technology and the way it is, and then video games kind of expand on that. So I think it's very exciting still.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, Ryan, Dane, Laos, anything else before we go ahead and cap off this evening? It's a nice, short, sweet. Doing it right.
I'm great. I am absolutely great.
Good.
Well, good to go.
All right, so we've got a whole bunch of news still. Like we'll carry us in this next week, but there's also some news coming next week. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that came out last week. Alien Covenant comes out this week. So there's a lot of good news coming up and a lot of good reviews coming up. Yes, sir, Mr. Lousman.
Question. I hope the rest of the panel has seen this at this point. If you have not, Donnie, feel free to cut this out. But the West Virginia, the John Denver, West Virginia, little, like there's like a weird little trailer. Yeah. Probably the best one I've seen for a movie in several years.
What movie is it, John Denver, West Virginia?
Alien Covenant.
It's for Alien Covenant.
Okay. I was like, that music video came out in the 70s.
And I'm probably prefacing this wrong, but all they do is they play the John Denver song, Country Roads, which is the West Virginia theme song, and then they play weird, creepy ass alien clip. And
I've got to watch it now.
I never thought it'd be cool. I was like, like I overheard it one time while I was driving. I was like, whatever. And then I watched it, and it was kind of one of the coolest trailers I've seen in a hot minute. Highly recommend everyone in the panel and everyone.
I'm right there with you, bro.
How do you find it?
Yeah,
It's just the latest. It's the latest trailer for Alien Covenant, and it's just it shows like it begins with like the wide view of the world, and you just hear West Virginia Country Road, and then it's like, and then it dives into like scary shit. It's really brilliant, I think.
Very, very much so a fire intro. Love
Pretty
it.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's all them as a group, and then all of a sudden it starts getting closer and closer.
You'll hear the song. You'll know what it is.
I'm watching. You have to be able to hear it. No, you have to be able to hear it, Donnie. So it's not going to do you justice without hearing it. Again,
the new trailer.
Yeah, I think it's the latest one.
It's extremely creepy, and I love that song dearly. So, like, to hear it in a different realm, I was like, ooh, like it gave me shivers hearing it on like the TV in the background. I was like, what the hell was that?
Well,
I
it's
need
funny,
to know more.
and I don't want to get into it too much tonight. Like, I'd rather talk about it next week, probably, because we'll get into it a little bit more deeply. But I spent a good portion of today researching like exactly where Prometheus left off and where Covenant's going to pick up again. It's I don't know if you guys have seen Prometheus in a while.
Yep.
I watched it last night.
I love
did you really?
Prometheus.
I didn't like it before, and I still think there's big problems with it. But when you try to piece together the timeline, I get it. Like, I get why this is a thing. I just have a lot of issues with the movie itself and character choices. But like I said, we'll get into that next week. I may just see Covenant before now and then, so we'll see.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, where can they find everybody, guys? Let's let the good people know. Let's get out of here.
Where can they find you, Louse Man?
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Everyone on the interwebs can find me at Mr. Louseman on the Twitter universe. I'll be there with all my weird, awkward sayings, comings, and goings. And next?
Ryan stole the cookie at the cookie.
Making that real weird.
You guys can find me on Twitter at BrewedBoy813. I'm actually going out to Marker 48 this week, so if anything, be checking my feed. I'll be not Snapchatting, but I'll be showing.
I'll be snapsing some chaps.
I'll be snapping and gramming and
I'll be snapping some tweets.
live feed.
I'm learning
a bunch of this.
Facebooking. A lot of finger guns.
A lot of finger guns. Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, pew.
And I'm getting out of here because I'm going to go watch some freaking Attack on Titan season 2. So that's what I'm going to go do.
Yeah, so you can find me at DT Mirt on Twitter. Hey.
Pew, pew. And of course,
That sounds horrible.
you can find me and
It's the worst.
and the show at Brewmasters Club on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everything. So Instagram, of course. Find us on there if you want to communicate with the show. It's hashtag Brewmasters Club Cast. If you want to voice your opinion for our Mario Kart tournament or anything else, feel free for the Mario Kart piece. At least use hashtag It's a Me Barrio. And we'll definitely be able to pick you up because no one's using that hashtag right now. And if you want to come see a live gig with us, please just let us know because we're going to do it. And basically, we'll buy you a beer. We're going to buy you a beer. You get to hear a whole show, and we might play, some geeky games or a Mario Kart tournament after. So we thank you. We appreciate you. And as always, stay safe and thanks for listening.
Adios.
Bye.
Adios, beer amigos. Right, Los?
I like that.
Oh, it's terrible. Where was that on Cinco de Mayo? We had a Cinco de Mayo.
You've been listening to your brother for too long now, Donnie. You've been listening to your brother.
Oh, no. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
You've been listening to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Grab a beer with the guys and be sure to subscribe to catch additional content. Add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Chat with the guys on Twitter at Brewmasters Club and Facebook and online at www.brewmasters.club. Cheers!